Oh my god, what am I doing? Hello, I'm back. I know I've been gone for a while. Welcome to my channel, Just Thinking Out Loud. I had a bunch of personal stuff in my life and I had to deal with it. If you were very interested, I might make a video on the topic because I think it might be interesting to you guys. But I'm also kind of a private person. However, I just want to let you know I'm sorry that I've been gone for a bit and I'll try to not let it happen again. So I thought that I could make a video on topics that I missed out on while I was gone. The first one being the hurricane and Trump's response to that. And the second one being on DACA and what I think about that, which is conflicted. So in terms of the hurricane, I realized that I am a fortunate person and I have never been through a life-changing experience like this that was pretty much outside of my control. I think it must be a horrible experience to have, I guess, your life and the things that you put effort into, even though they may be material things, they represent something and they have symbolic meaning to you, and to have them washed away, and then also to be in a situation where your life is actually at stake and figuring out how to deal with that. So the first thing I want to say is to the people who are involved in that situation, you have my sympathy, and I don't know what the right words are, but I just want to put something in there first and foremost because I am from a tropical island, but I've never experienced something like that. The second thing I wanted to talk about in terms of the hurricane was Trump's response. I think in terms of PR, it was absolutely great, and I am not saying that I know his motivations or that they were not sincere, but I think that it was a very quick response from what I saw, and I think that his decision to donate a lot of his personal money was great. I think that it may be actually influencing the minds of some people who hate him. Maybe they hate him a little bit less because they see that he's actually a normal person. Perhaps. I think that the response from the Department of Homeland Security in terms of providing immediate relief to people who needed it, whether or not they were in the state legally or illegally, was great. Anything else probably would have been inhumane, but just because you expect something does not mean that it should go unnoticed. Trump's comments about what a great turnout was pretty bad, but not as big of a deal as people want to make it out to be, and slightly comical because it was completely inappropriate. One thing that it really made me think about was the topic of insurance, because of course everyone expected the government to be the solution to the problem, and a lot of people did not have insurance. And I think that in that case, this is an actual emergency situation where I think that maybe you couldn't see it coming, and I do think that people should have their own private insurance, but insurance is expensive, and I think that these are real cases of emergency situations where people may need help in overcoming that. I personally do not think that is the government's job. However, that's my opinion. I think that that's why you have your neighbors and friends. I think that individuals should be able to support people. And the reason why I don't think the government should do it is not because that money isn't coming from individuals, because money comes through the government from individuals, but because that gives the government more power when they're always there for you and creates dependency, and I don't think that's a good thing. But I think this is much better than welfare. And I also saw there were two politicians whose names I can't remember, Governors Kasich and Hickenlooper. I don't know how you pronounce them. I saw them on CNN because I was actually watching CNN that day when everything was going on, and they were talking about coming with a bipartisan plan to reform healthcare, and I was immediately thinking, yep, they are capitalizing on a situation where people realize how much they don't have security. And I thought that it was crap because I don't believe that the government should be involved in health insurance, and I think that that should be up to doctors and those insurance companies running their businesses. And I think that if people don't want to be scammed in terms of buying into policies that won't be good for them, then they should get themselves educated and make sure that their children are properly educated and take that upon themselves to educate their young and not the government. And I know I sound like some super old-fashioned lady right now, but I think the government is dangerous, not because of the people in it. I don't think that like people who work in government are evil or anything like that. I just think that it is an impersonable entity that the only way it can sustain itself is to always want more growth and power. And I think that we should take those things, those very personal things in our lives, such as how we care for ourselves, into our own hands. I think that is way better than putting it into the hands of the government, because that would just give them more power. And I know I sound super anti-government, and that's because I kind of am, even though I don't really put it in my videos a lot, because I'm not like totally go-hung about it. But thinking about the hurricane really made me start, you know, thinking about that stuff. And then hearing these politicians come on and talk about reforming health insurance, and I guess, you know, they want to put the single payer system in, which is what a lot of people want. I wish people wouldn't do it in the United States, and I wish people would care more about freedom than security, because to me that's more important than security, is freedom. And I think that if there's one place in the world where that should be the priority, it should be the United States, because that was what it was founded upon. So that's what I have to say about those two topics, Hurricane Harvey and now there's also Hurricane Irma. Bye.